Hey everybody, so this is the beginning, the very beginning, kind of a backstory on Sheamus and Alexander's journals. I just finished Amy's journals, I think 15 or 16 parts of them, and before I get started on Sheamus and Alexander's journals, I wanted to do kind of a backstory on that. I actually typed an email to myself, whole little thing. I don't know if you can see that or not. And I know I have way more than that, but there are quite a few. I have saved tons of newspaper clippings on DSS, CPS, which was involved with my children. And, oh look, here's one with the rainbow. Very deep of. Here's one, March 2017. In truth, becoming elusive natural politics. Words are bandied so blatantly they are in danger of losing their meanings. The truth is becoming elusive. Ain't that the truth? Let's see. The jail is under investigation because the jail is corrupt. Higgins has done things. I was abused in the jail. It has a correlation to all of this, I promise. DSS is under investigation for being corrupt, which is all connected because DSS used us as scapegoats. DSS was moving a daycare that is involved with the boys is connected to DSS, and so they've targeted me as well. Can't say their name because I have a year of jail time over my head if I say their name. It's all corrupt. Removal of DSS members. Here's a newspaper article. Grand jury report. There were 2 little girls that were molested or sexually assaulted in our area, and then a baby in our area that died because she was born drug addicted. And my children were not abused or neglected in the way they said they were, and yet they were taken anyway because of false reports done by someone who was a family member. And I'm going to start reading that soon, but my story, and it's very corrupt, and it's all false. So those are some newspaper articles that I have about Rockbridge area, CPS, and DSS, and they scapegoated my family, targeted my family. And as an added note, CPS makes, I believe it's $1,000 to $5,000 for every child they take from a family, so they have no reason to give them back. They've made that money, and it's child trafficking. So you can say what you want, you can say that's a load of BS, but the truth of the matter is they make money from children that they take from government subsidies, government programs, and then when they take them and put them in foster families or the family, their blood family, which is their goal, it's all a game to them. So here's my story. I've summed it up. There are parts that I have left out because I've forgotten them because it's been 3 years that this has been going on and it's still going on. They are not going to give my children back. They have trafficked them into the system. They are never going to give them back. There is no way. They're saying, oh, well, you have to prove whatever. There's something they have to prove that I am fit. But there's no way in hell that they're, even no matter what I do, they're going to say, bollocks, we don't believe you, or it's not good enough. If I were to buy $1 million mansion and have a doctor's degree, they still would say it's not good enough because they've already made up their minds and they've corrupted. They are completely corrupt, the judges, lawyers, and everything. So it doesn't matter what I do. Okay, November the 4th, 2017. Cindy Troxell Smith. Got a phone call from my husband, Brian. She came to my house. She took my son out of my arms, Alexander. Brian called her and told her that I hit my stepdaughter, Claire. Claire had seen that Brian hit me and pushed me. He held me down on the bed. And he denied it. And she denied it. She said, you didn't hit my daddy, because she doesn't want to see her dad as a bad person. She always denied it, that he would hit me. She was haughty. She got in my face. And I was so distraught. I got in her face. I had it at that point. And I said, how dare you, you little bitch. And he got mad to get revenge at me. And he took my children from me and pushed me again. He knew I was planning to leave again, because I had already left like the day before that and come back, because a woman will leave an average of 7 or 8 times before she finally leaves for good. And I had come back that weekend because I knew he had visitation with his daughter, and I wanted to try to act normal, right? But I was planning to divorce him, and I had told him that. So I was going to divorce him. I had gone to Project Horizon, which is a domestic violence shelter in our town of Rockbridge County. It had been like a month before that. It was like summer, and this was like August this was November, so it was like the summer. And just that weekend, it was the weekend, so a couple days before I'd gone to my mother's house with the boys. So he called his mom to get back at me and was like, I'm going to get revenge. So just to sound like my first husband to you, yeah, he did it to get back at me. So he called his mom, Cindy, to get back at me, because he knew that I was going to take his kids, and he didn't want to pay child support, and he didn't want to be in that mess again. So it was all a game. So Cindy came with Mark in the car, her husband, and Claire was always the favorite, and they knew that, and they were just trying to protect Claire. It wasn't about Sheamus or Alexander. It was really about Claire. And so she took Alexander from my arms and said, I'm never going to do anything to help you, Sarah, because I was saying, please help me. You don't know what happened. And Brian took Sheamus, my oldest, and all I could do was run, because I knew that he had called the cops again, because he had already put me in jail like a couple of months before then. And they'd call the police again. So even though Brian had hit me and choked me and held me down in front of the children and in front of Claire, and knew that she was a liar, it was all I could do was run away because of these false charges, because I have a criminal record. And it doesn't really matter, because when you have a criminal record, all people can do is say, well, she has a criminal record. Look at her. She has purple hair. She has whatever hair color I had and piercings. You just look at her and you make a judgment. And there's black marks on her record, as people say. And so that's what they're going to believe. And it was over a library book. Like, we had gone to Rockbridge Regional Library and gotten books for like $2 a bag of books. And I was reading the books, and I have major anxiety. And Brian is like really abusive and gets in my face. And like, he wanted to go to the store and get a beer because he was an alcoholic, and he wanted me to watch the kids, and I was like, I just want a few minutes to myself to read this book. Can you just let me do that? And I was having really bad anxiety, and he was like, no. He refused to let me read it. He wanted to go to the store. And so he kept like beating on the door, and he wanted in, and I was like, no, just give me a few minutes. So he like tried to climb in the window, and it was over that, and so that's why he ended up holding me down on the bed in front of the kids. So that's how it escalated. And then, yeah, it was terrible. So he ended up taking my kids away from me, November the 4th, 2017, over a book. And I lost my children that day. That's what happened. It doesn't matter now, because my kids are gone, right? Over that petty shit. I'm reading this from my email with my finger over the words where I'm at. So that was November the 4th. And then I wanted to kill myself. So I was like, please bring my children home. Oh my God, I just want to die. I knew what was going to happen, because I had known for months what was going to happen. I knew I was never going to get my kids back, because once you get this ball rolling, the ball does not stop. It snowballs. Like a big snowball, it just keeps rolling and rolling and rolling and rolling. So Brian had me TDO'd at Lisa and Cindy's advice. Lisa is his aunt, and Cindy is his mother. And Lisa got involved. Wow, Lisa got involved. Who knew? Like, she had been there over the summer when I was in jail, because he had had me locked up before, right? So November, that night, I went back to the house. I had run in my van, and I was like, I'm gonna kill myself. I'm gonna fucking kill myself. And I went back to the house finally. A friend, Robert Kendall, had convinced me to go back to the house, so I went back to the house. And when I did, Robert had called the cops too. So the cops came to the house, and the cop hit my car when I tried to leave. And so the cop pulled me out of the car and threw me down on the ground, put his boot on my back. That was Harrison. He put his fucking boot on my back and assaulted me. I thought he was going to molest me like Plogger had done before and Terry Martin had assaulted me before. And I remember the dog barking in the back seat. So there was a dog in the car. He had a drug dog in the car, like I was on drugs, right? So they had taken my kids, and then my husband had me TDO'd like a crazy person after taking my children. It was so abusive. After beating me, he took my kids after beating me and choking me. And, I mean, I can't tell you how many times my husband has beat and choked me. I was like 8 months pregnant. The third pregnancy, I was 8 months pregnant, and the second pregnancy, I was like 5 months or 6 months pregnant, and he choked me, and he has a strangulation charge. But it's just so many times I've been pregnant, and he's choked me. So November the 5th and 6th, I was in a mental hospital because he had me TDO'd for being crazy. I was assaulted in my own apartment by the police when I came back for running suicidal. I was betrayed by 2 other friends, Shannon, I remember her, and also family, who said they meant well, but did not understand the level of domestic violence that was happening, because I tried to keep it quiet so we wouldn't lose our kids, because I had told people, please don't do this, because I don't want to lose my children. They're all I had. I loved my kids, and I just wanted to have a normal family. So while I was in the mental hospital because of my husband, my milk dried up. I had still been breastfeeding my youngest son, Alexander, at the time. They removed a baby that was still breastfeeding. The hospital threw away my breast milk. I just wanted to leave my husband. I was trying to leave my husband. If these families had helped me get out of there, like I kept leaving him, they just helped me get out of there. November the 6th, Lisa Johnston continually involved herself and CPS and made up false claims that we weren't feeding our children. She said we were giving them watered down milk. I remember that. Well, that's what Brian said. And cops came to my house when I had just gotten out of the hospital and arrested me for assault on a police officer and a canine unit, right? They had arrested me. They had come to a TDO me for suicidal ideation, right? And he had assaulted me and put his boot on my back right after taking my children. But that was Harrison, right? But it was assault that supposedly had happened while I was being TDO'd. I was the one who had been assaulted. But later those charges were dropped. But it doesn't matter because he had done all of that. I mean, look at the body cam footage. All this shit has happened before. I'm doing something. Please go. Go back outside. I'm recording. I'm recording. I should have sued, and I still should. But because of those charges against me, and before, this has happened before, it doesn't matter what they did. It doesn't matter what any of these people did. It only matters what they said about me. And that still stands true today. I am always the villain. I'll always be the villain. I'll always be the psycho and the crazy person. That's all they see is black marks. That's all they see. They don't even see a human being. They see boards on a paper. They don't see me as a person or a mother. Those kids know who their mother is, and they know that I love them. But all these courts and these judges and these lawyers and these daycare workers and whoever else sees is a psycho, crazy person. So that's why I call myself Sarafina Delirium, because they don't see anything else. It was set in stone that my reputation was unfit, even though it wasn't proven. It's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. That's bullshit. It's guilty until proven innocent, and even then you have a reputation. It doesn't matter who you are. It only matters what people say about you. And then they can do whatever they want to you. They can rape you. They can hold you down. They can abuse you. And they get away with it. And then I tell you, is freedom really free? Why does it cost so much? Is this really a free country? No. This is a country where people get abused every day. And their tormentors get away with it. And they take your children. And then your children get abused. And you have to sit there and take it. And your children have to be quiet about it. And they have to sit and follow the rules and go to school every day. And get trained. There was no evidence. But they had it all planned. I knew it when my children were born, so I didn't want to get involved with that family. And I told Brian, I don't want to get involved with your family from the beginning. I was paranoid. And they know it. Mark, my father-in-law, knew it. He picked my son up one time and I got so mad. They were like, why are you so worried? Well, I don't want any of you involved. I didn't want to be around any of those people because I knew this would happen. I was the only one. I had this intuition from the beginning. And look what happened. What do you know? Here we are. Do I see them? No, it's been 3 years. This was so much like what the Marlats did. And it's worse because they knew what happened. And they did this anyway. This is worse than what the Marlats did. And I can't believe how like this was. I cannot begin to tell you. And in the midst of all this, my husband abandoned me again. Sometimes he was still hitting me throughout all of this. I can't believe I let him around. And in my desperation, I just needed his support so bad. I had nothing left when I lost my children. Slowly, in his small amounts of sober guilt, he would apologize sometimes. Then Brian would turn away again. He might come clean about setting me up or sending pictures of something bad that I had done to my ex-sister, Katrina, and his ex-girlfriend, Madison. Then he would deny it, and he'd run the other direction. I'm sure some people remember those pictures that went to CPS that they tried to use against me and file child abuse charges, but there wasn't enough evidence to file child abuse charges, but Brian was the reason that those got sent to Madison, Katrina, and then they got sent to CPS. But I'm not a child abuser. But that got blown out of proportion because somebody had to be cruel. But it was Brian who was the one abusing our children. And now it's Cindy and Lisa who are abusing the children. I have watched them abuse those children in public. And I have watched Peggy Sigler drag my children. CPS workers drag my children and abuse them. And it's okay for them to abuse the children, but they sit there and they scapegoat me. Has anybody ever seen the way Madison treats Claire? He would never truly take accountability and still can't. If he could, he would be manning up and fighting with me, not laying down and hiding from the world. But that's what it comes down to with Brian. Looking back now, I realize how alike he and Jonathan, my first husband, were, and how alike Kathy Marlatt and Callie Vassaturo and Cindy Troxell Smith and Lisa Johnston are. The four of them could be connected as one person in their conniving ways. They can talk shit about me, but I get a show cause for talking about the truth when they gossip about me in public. And I hear about it. I hear all of the things that they say about me. But I get a show cause for saying the truth, for telling my story. I'm not allowed to say all of the things that you did to me. I was numb for so long. Numb. I fought in the beginning. I fought. I'm still fighting. And I told social services what they wanted to hear. I thought they were on my side. I would do anything to get my children back. I had never dealt with this. I did the drug tests, the hair follicle test. I let them cut this much of my hair off, this whole thing, knowing I'm drug-free. The only thing, I told them the truth. The only thing I'd ever done in my life was smoke pot. There are people that have said that I've done drugs, and they are liars. I've never done anything in my life to smoke pot, and that's when I was like 16. I did the psychological evaluation with the Rorschach test, and that man would call me names, all the things that they lied about me. Said that I was some narcissist. Disgusting people. They made up shit, made me to be some kind of monster like they do, because CPS only wants to traffic kids. And I was distraught. I didn't want the world to know this had happened again. I couldn't let this happen. No one could know I had lost my kids. I kept going. I was homeless. Brian and I were living in the van because CPS and Lisa and Cindy were the reason we had lost our apartment. And we had worked so hard. Brian had worked in construction, and I was working. I got a job at the Amish cupboard. I got all these jobs, and I've been working ever since. Just trying to do what they told me to do, trying to buy a house. They told me if I could get a job and I could get an apartment. So I did it. I did all of that. And it still wasn't good enough. I put a brave face on, and that's another reason I didn't write until May, or the other date, whatever's in the book. But here we go, because I was set up again. The CPS and the legal system and this judge, I remember a judge, Dasher, she said, "She's pregnant again?" How can you say that to somebody? And I'm always ending up with these contempt of court charges. Well, how do these judges get to talk to us the way they do? How can you talk to a mother like that? Do you have kids yourself? Can I say that to you? If I said the things to these judges that they say to me, I would be in jail. Do you have any idea what I've been through? I've been molested by cops. I've had these people touch my children, beat my children in public. If I did those things, I would be in prison for years. But it's okay for you to do it. This legal system and CPS set me up again, made charges, and lied about other things, and tried to cement claims that they couldn't prove. Lisa is in on it because she works at the courthouse. She works at the Buena Vista courthouse, and she gets away with it. Recently, I actually had more court fines that were only 10 days old, and in the system, when I looked it up, it said they were late. Someone was trying to put me in jail yet again. This has happened before, where I've paid charges, and then somehow they ended up being put on someone else's account, so it looked like I hadn't paid them at all. And it's only happening to me. It's funny that Lisa works at the Buena Vista courthouse, and then her friend Candy Bain, who worked at the jail before, who has pulled me by my hair when I was at the jail, abused me at the jail. It's funny. It's not a coincidence, okay? There's people, and there's another friend of Lisa's. I don't know her name, but I know exactly what she looks like, the worst at the Lexington courthouse as well. I know it's not a coincidence. These people are against me, and they all work together, they band together, and they're getting away with it. I know that Lisa forged documents, made up paperwork. They have put my kids under x-rays via CPS and did blood tests, looking for drugs in their systems, trying to find out if I had put shit in my kids' bodies. I have the records. I have those medical records of what they did to my children when they first took them away. And it's sickening. I have a big pile of all of the medical records. I have highlighted them, underlined the things that they said about me, the lies that they said about me and Brian, and even about my mother, about my family, the things that they made up to take those kids away from me. I have those records. That's why they fight me on getting records today. They are legally required to give me medical records about my children and school records, and they don't want me to know what they're doing to my kids and saying about me, lying about me. I know they pinned my kids down in the beginning, and they probably still do it. I know it. They're abusing them. And they had done that in the beginning to see if I had done something to my kids, where in fact they're the ones who did that. Just to see if I had shot my kids up with drugs. I've never done drugs. And here they are still abusing my babies. And CPS is. Just to scapegoat me because someone else killed their baby. And someone else molested their babies. And they took my kids away so they could prove. Just as CPS in Rockbridge County could prove a point. Scapegoat Sarafina Donald. I got a letter from the parents of Rockbridge County saying that I was a scapegoat, and I'm not going to read it because it'll be used against me. They are alienating my babies from me when they beg to see me, just to traffic them to get back at me. So let's start reading. Thanks for watching. And that's only our backstory, only a part of it, a gist of it. This letter, I am a targeted parent. I got sent this from someone else who is a targeted parent. As said, I'm not going to read it yet, but I will one day. It's very important. It's only a piece of the beginning. That is only a piece of it. I'll probably get arrested for saying this on the internet because someone will file another contempt of court charge. You bet. Be a year in jail for saying this. The truth. Just for saying it. Imagine if I only had a body cam recording what they really did, what they're really doing. I wish I had one so I could show you. Then you would believe me. Someone would believe me and someone would care. Someone would say, this is wrong. You can have your kids back. You can have $1 million in damages so you can buy a house because you deserve justice. Even though there is no real definition of justice, because does anybody really care? No, nobody really cares because they're always going to get away with it. No matter what I do or what I say. No one's ever going to care about what they did or what they're doing. And even if they did, CPS would just take the kids again and put them in foster care. Because that's all they do. They traffic children. They're never going to give them back to me. Never. They're never going to get my kids back. They don't care about the children. They only care about greed. They are milking people for money. I have paid countless dollars fighting in court to see my children. And when I go to court, it's just a witch trial. It's just a game. It's all it's ever going to be is a game. Family court. Monopoly game. I will see you in the next journal. The first journal. Thanks for watching. Hopefully I won't get arrested again for caring about my kids. Thanks for watching.